What is going on, everybody? We're just gonna go ahead and do a huge, big NFL offseason recap video. The one I did before kind of wasn't that great, and we missed so much stuff. I did that like last week, Monday or Tuesday, even though it didn't go up till Thursday. I wasn't expecting all that was gonna happen, so we've got a pretty lengthy video here, like a 17-minute video. They were going to be a live commentary doubleheader, but I apologize for the gameplay. It was so laggy that when I was trying to live commentary it just wasn't very entertaining or good at all. So this will go up Sunday, and then we should get a live commentary going for Monday's video tomorrow. As you guys can see, we're back home for spring break. I'm going to be home. I've been off since last week Tuesday. I haven't had class since last week Tuesday, but spring break officially started Friday, so I'm going to be off until I don't go back to school until the 23rd, so we got a nice long break. If you ever wanted to see me live stream, or you're interested in seeing me live stream, we'll live stream Madden and Grand Theft Auto. This will be the time period when I don't have school. So if you're interested in any of that, follow the Twitch stream down in the description, and I'll remind you guys at the end. And yeah, so let's get into it. Let's try to start back from the very beginning. Basically, I want you guys to leave your opinions of what all's happened in the offseason in the comments, and let me know if you think it helps the teams that made those moves, if you think it doesn't have any effect, if you think the teams that lost players, it's going to hurt them. Let me know. So we're just going to kind of start on everything that we see here. The Seahawks signed Will Blackman, which was okay. They re-signed him, so he'll be an okay cornerback, since they ended up losing Maxwell. That was kind of a big blow, because it was like they only really had two good corners. It was Maxwell and Sherman, and with him leaving, I guess they think that they can just plug and play. So we'll see how it goes with that. I'm pretty much on the NFL transaction list as far back as March 9th, and I'm just going to scroll up, and anything big that comes up we'll talk about. The Rams released Jake Long. I don't think you make that move. Yes, he was hurt, but he's such a good offensive lineman. I wonder if anybody's going to pick him up. Along with that, they also released Scott Wells. Let's see what else went on. The Steelers agreed to terms with Arthur Moats. I think Arthur Moats is a good linebacker. Is he going to like change the game? No, but he does his job. And they also finally released Brett Kiesel, which was kind of big. I mean, at some point it has to happen. He's got to be going on like 60. And as of today, March 15th, I haven't heard any Troy Polamalu news. I mean, I know he's not re-signed, but I haven't heard anything as far as like him agreeing to retiring or anything big like that. The Eagles agreed to terms with Brandon Graham. He'll be okay. Again, I don't think he's going to change the game, but I mean, now that they have Kiko, that'll definitely help. Let's keep scrolling up. The Saints released Curtis Lofton. I wouldn't be surprised if the Falcons picked him back up. I think somebody will pick him up. We'll see how it goes. Houston released Andre Johnson, which we knew, and then in turn he gets picked up by the Colts. Now that we're on the topic, I guess we'll go ahead and talk about the Colts. I mean, their offense is great. I didn't think their offense was their problem last year. You definitely can't crowd the box now that you have T.Y. on one side and Andre Johnson on the other. You've got to respect those two wide receivers. So that's definitely going to help Frank Gore. He's been in a division and on a team where he's played in probably the hardest played against the best defensive fronts his whole career out in that division, and they've just been stacking the box, just beating the shit out of him. Now he gets to they get to open that up, and he might not take such a beating. That it might really help him out. Andre Johnson is going to be a beast. He gets to play against the Texans twice a year, so that's going to be huge. And did they sign? No, it was just those two. For some reason, I'm thinking they signed Vince, but Vince, as of today, still hasn't got picked up. But again, I think a Frank Gore, Ahmad Bradshaw backfield can be huge. But there's reports that Bradshaw might not be with the team. I know the Patriots had interest, so did other teams. So we'll see what that goes. But it comes down to, I don't think the Colts defense is that great. They have their bright spots where they'll be on like a string of 5 or 6 games and they'll get like 2 turnovers a game. But my roommate had Andrew Luck as his fantasy quarterback, so you know you're kind of keyed in on a lot of players that you wouldn't normally be on. And Andrew Luck looks like he's good for 1 or 2 turnovers a game. Like, he's good for a pick 6 like every other week. So if he can calm down the turnover ratio, they could be a squad. I don't think there's really anybody in their division I see threatening them, because let me go ahead and pull up the teams here. I mean, the Texans, they have Arian Foster and a good defense. I really like their defensive line. But the Jags are the Jags, the Titans are the Titans. So the Colts will most likely win that division again, basically. But they're not playing to win the division. They're playing to get past where they got last year, which is the AFC Championship. So we'll see what goes along with that. Green Bay took care of their own and re-signed Randall Cobb, which I think is huge. If they can kind of keep that Rodgers, Cobb, Nelson, Lacey thing together, they have a shot to make it to the Super Bowl every year. They really needed to tighten up their defense, I think. I know didn't they let go of AJ Hawk? I'm pretty sure they let go AJ Hawk. And also, did they let go of who's the other linebacker? I can't remember his name, but I haven't really seen them make any moves on defense. Maybe they're waiting for the draft. I'm not quite sure. We'll see how it goes. But they took care of Randall Cobb. They gave him a good amount of money. There are reports that he might get picked up or walk somewhere else. But they made it happen. Let's see what else happened. The Bills re-signed Jerry Hughes, which was pretty good. I mean, I wouldn't have given him all that money, but I mean, he is a good player. And that's just all that happened on March 9th, which was day 1. So day 2, Jake Locker announced he's going to retire. He said he just didn't have that fire in him anymore to play, which I guess is understandable. But even if I don't have the fire, if you're paying me that money, I'm going to at least try to stick it out. I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to come back and play in 2 years, 3 years. The team will definitely make I think a team will definitely make a push to at least put him on the roster. The Bucks re-signed Major Wright. And then this trade took me by surprise. I remember I was napping after one of my classes, and I woke up and I went to ESPN, and I thought I was dreaming that the Jimmy Graham got traded to the Seahawks. I'm not so shocked that the Seahawks got him. I'm just shocked that the Saints parted ways. Like, he has made that whole Who Dat Nation down there, that big, like, uprising. Jimmy has been a part of that, and they just let that go. And then when he got let go, I heard reports that, like, Drew Brees was talking to the Bucks and talking here and talking there. It definitely helps the Seahawks, but he's not a good run blocker. He doesn't like all that contact down in the box. I mean, don't get me wrong. When Russell starts rolling, I'm sure Jimmy will get open, but it's a Marshawn-led offense. So they definitely need to hold on to Luke Wilson, and McCoy, I think, is the other tight end. Let them do the hard grunt work and keep Jimmy healthy, and that can definitely help out. The Chargers scoop up Orlando Franklin from the Broncos. He's always a good lineman, so that'll definitely help them out. But they don't have a running back going either. They got rid of, I mean, they have Danny Woodhead, but he's not an RB1, at least not by himself. And that's that. Last video, I was hoping that we would re-sign Revis, but I read up on it a lot, and it was kind of under the consensus of the whole league. If the Jets got involved with Revis, he was going back there no matter what. Like, his heart lies there. He wants to be there, and there's no way we were going to compete with that money. I think we might have given McCourty a little bit too much, and we could have saved it for maybe giving it to Browner or something, but there was no way we were going to be able to give Revis that money. Then the Jets also released Percy Harvin, which we know as of now he ended up getting picked up by the Bills. He goes right back to Rex Ryan. So I don't know if it was so much he wanted to stay in the division. Maybe he really liked playing for Rex Ryan. Who knows? But he goes ahead and goes to the Bills. I like what the Bills have going. They've kind of got the pieces. I just want to know what their offensive coordinator is going to do, because we know Rex Ryan isn't the offensive mind. He just focuses on the defense, tries to have a solid run game, and then not turn over the ball too much. So we'll see how it goes with the Bills. The Colts picked up Trent Cole, who was released by the Eagles. That'll be nice. I'm interested to see how he plays. I know he's a little up there in age. I mean, he can still play, but I'm interested to see what kind of impact he makes. And then once the Broncos lost Julius Thomas to the Jags, which I think is pretty much it for Julius Thomas's career. I mean, at least he got that money, but there's nothing going on down there. The Broncos end up signing Virgil Green. They bring in Owen Daniels, which is huge. We'll see how that goes. The Bengals picked up AJ Hawk, so that'll be nice. I'm interested to see how that goes. And then the Bears traded Brandon Marshall to the Jets. Again, Brandon Marshall's a good player, but we don't even know who's going to be QBing that team. The Jets have a lot of nice pieces. They brought in Cromartie and Revis, the old defensive cornerbacks. I was reading so many things that, like, the Jets did Rex Ryan so dirty. Like, where were all these moves when Rex Ryan was your coach? But they bring in those two DBs, and they bring in Brandon Marshall. So I think it'll be nice. And then the thing that kind of really broke everything was the Bills acquiring Marshawn Lynch for Kiko Alonso. Personally, I would rather hold on to Marshawn than bring in Kiko. But looking back on it now, we know how that turned out for the Eagles. The Lions, even though Sue walks and goes and scoops up all that money to play for Miami, they bring in Haloti Ngata. I don't think they really miss a step right there. I think that's a great pickup, and I think they'll be just as good, if not better, for it. Titans signed Denor Cersei, nothing too big. Surprisingly, the Bucks released Michael Johnson, the DN. I wasn't really expecting that. The 49ers signed Torrey Smith, but the ship is sinking out there in San Francisco. If you're a 49ers fan, I'm sorry, but I don't think they're going to make the playoffs this year, and maybe for a couple of years to come. The Eagles pick up Walter Thurman. He's a solid cornerback, and they also re-sign Mark Sanchez. They bring him back. The Raiders end up picking up Curtis Lofton, which is I like what the Raiders are doing, but we know how the Raiders usually go. The Giants picked up Shane Vereen, unfortunately. He's a good player. I think he'll be good for them out there. We ended up signing Brandon Gibson, which I'm interested to see what he'll do. I know he's kind of an over-the-top threat, a streaker, so we'll see how that goes, if he even ends up making the final roster. The Chiefs signed Jeremy Maclin, which maybe they'll finally get one wide receiver touchdown this year. We'll see. I think that's a great pickup, but it'll definitely help open up that box for Jamal Charles. We'll kind of see was Jeremy Maclin's year last year kind of fluky, or will he be able to do the same thing? We end up picking up Scott Chandler, which I think is huge. I saw a lot of people on the ESPN boards hating on Scott Chandler. He's just your typical big body tight end. He run blocks and he can catch, and he has some wheels. He's not completely slow. I think it'll be nice with him and Gronk, because we don't have a backup tight end. We got like Hamanui or whatever his last name is, but he's not the greatest. So I think the Scott Chandler pickup is huge, especially if we go 2 tight end sets. I don't know why there's so much hate on it. Let's see what else. The Bucks signed Chris Conti. The Rams signed Akeem Ayers, who we had, which I wish we would have re-signed, but he'll be a good pickup. Oh, no, that's not who I think it was the Titans that picked up who I'm thinking about. Let's keep going. Re-signed. We picked up Chemdi Chekwa, which, if you play Madden, you know he's a beast in Madden, but he'll just be special teams purposes. We picked up Jabal Sheard from the Browns. If he stays healthy, I think he'll make an impact this season. It'll definitely help with the loss of... It wasn't Ayers that we lost. Who was it that we lost? I can't think of the guy's name, but he'll definitely fill that spot if he stays healthy. He was a beast for the Browns. He won the Walter Payton Award a couple years ago in 2013, so just 2 years ago. If he stays healthy, he'll be a big player for us. Saints pick up Brandon Browner, which I was kind of head-scratching about that he went there. I thought he would have came back, but he ends up doing what he has to do, and I respect it. So the Saints definitely have improved their defense, but their offense, I don't know what they're doing. I mean, they did get CJ Spiller, but if I'm CJ Spiller, I got to think of your logic here. Are you not wanting to be RB1? I don't know why you wouldn't go to Dallas or go to New England or anything along those lines, that you want to split time with Ingram. If I'm Ingram, I'm chapped. If I'm Ryan Matthews with DeMarco Murray coming in, I'm chapped. I mean, DeMarco Murray, again, I guess we'll talk about this since we're already on the topic. I don't think that's the offense he needs to play with. I think he's got to be in the I-form set, single back by himself. The reads and shotgun, if you play football, you know the reads that you have to make it as a running back are so much quicker because the ball is instantly snapped and given to you. You don't have time for what DeMarco Murray does best, which is stretch the line, make a read, play it, go. So we're going to see. I mean, if he's a great running back, he'll be able to adjust either way. I just think it would have been better off for him to stay. But, I mean, if someone's giving you that money, they're giving you that money. But then on the flip side, I feel like Justin Forsett, you took pennies. You had almost the same yards from scrimmage, including like receiving yards and everything, as DeMarco did. And what is he getting, like 2 per year, 6 per year? I don't know. I feel like he didn't get anything. But it is what it is. The Titans bring in Arakpo. They re-sign Derek Morgan, which I think is huge. That'll definitely help. But again, I don't think that division is the Colts to lose. Saints pick up CJ Spiller. Again, I just don't understand that logic from CJ's perspective. Why you wouldn't try to go to a Dallas. And I guess now we're on the thing of Dallas. They signed Darren McFadden. I think they're going to need another running back to help him out. He's not a bad player. With that offensive line, this might be kind of the resurrection of Darren McFadden's career. If he stays healthy with that offensive line, I think he'll have a good season. Is it going to be DeMarco Murray-like? I'm not quite sure, but we'll see. Bills bring back Kyle Williams. Vikings release Greg Jennings. Speaking of running backs making bad decisions, Reggie Bush goes to San Francisco. I don't get it. You have a hard time running already. You need kind of the established passing game to help you running. I thought Reggie had a good season last year, but he decides to go. He was in New England the night before, and then he flies out to San Fran and makes a deal. I just don't understand the logic of what team you're trying to sign with right there, but that's pretty much going to do it for the recap. Again, let me know what you think of the moves that were made. We have like all the money given to Sue, to players being released, to shocking things. Let me know what you think of all those moves. Did your team make a good move? Are you waiting for a team to make a good move? And we'll see what happens. So again, if you're interested in any kind of live streaming, Grand Theft Auto Madden, definitely do. We might be live streaming tonight, actually. I'm about to go out with the family for a little bit. So again, comment in the comments below if anything kind of blew your mind, if you're kind of like, I don't know about that move, because there's so much going on, and there's still so much to be had out here. I know we're interested in looking at a Pierre Thomas. We ended up re-signing Alan Branch in case we can't reach a deal with Vince. So we'll see how all that goes. Again, comment down below. Let me know what you think. It has been a crazy offseason. I've never seen anything like this since I've started heavily watching football, but I appreciate it, guys. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you have not already. Tell all your friends. And as always,